you find it a little difficult here, then you will have this thought ki, how am I going to do it in this 2 weeks, in this 10 days, in this 5 days. Sach mein main bata raha hu, you will do it. Okay, the only thing is that you have to see to it that you don't lose touch with this anthropology as an exam. You don't leave with any what ifs. Okay, jitna hame karna hai hum karke aayenge. Okay, and then we'll be satisfied. If anybody is able to beat us, theek hai, then congratulations to you. Hats off. Right, that is that. But it should not be ki I did not give my best. Right, so every quarter mark basically. And agar tab bhi you are not able to tell, okay, then you just go and write intro and conclusion. Ye to aap kar sakte ho. I'm telling you this. Okay, I have students. I spoke to that student today as well. The student has not written an FLT, but I know for sure that student has what it takes to get to the top 1%. When you go to write your exam, don't forget the basics, right? Everything that we have done so far is basically get you to follow the process. Right, as much of what you have been doing is basically the process, right? So you will get to the point jahan pe you write your FLT. See, FLTs na likh ke na jana, theek hai? When you write your FLTs, you will understand aur usko baar dekho. Right, when you take a look at it itself, you will feel ki, this is not what I wanted to do exactly. This is not how I wanted to execute. This is not exactly how I visualized that it will be on my paper, but by the time I wrote it, it seems too crisp, it seems too wordy, it seems like, there are dimensions that I was not able to touch. Ye bahut sara aapko mind mein aayega. You have to write for sure, right? Writing is like, anivarya hai, right? Yeah. So when you're doing this, just try to see to it that process ko complete kar rahe ho. Just go with FLT5, FLT6. Okay, even if you don't write it on the same day, even that is fine. If you want to basically do a lot of cramming and then basically write it in one go and finish it off, that is also fine. But karo. Right, you only want to tell yourself ki, what, I had a chance at means, and when I had that chance, I did not stay in my comfort zone. I did not care about, whether I'm going to feel good, I'm not going to feel good, right? Okay, because this is feeling good or bad should be an actual exam, right? And it should be only good. So all kind of discomfort jo hai, yahan pe aap finish kar lo. Right, so you go sit, okay, pura din cram kar lo, then you write it. Okay, just try to get that confidence and execute it once jahan pe you are able to write it like this, right? So 35 minutes, okay, per block, executed beforehand. Okay, yahan pe aap execute nahi kar paoge, wahan pe execute karna bahut mushkil hai, right? Many of my students have basically completed it here because yahan pe thoda sa pressure kam hai. You don't feel like, what, me and my labasna mein, this is the final hurdle, probably the most important hurdle. You make it a lot bigger than it is, right? Okay, I know it is big, but you don't want to add that much pressure on yourself, right? ठीक है, but the pressure तो होगा, वो you're not going to do much about it, right? But just see to it that यहाँ पे आप execute कर रहे हो, because at least you have that confidence. You know what, ठीक है, I've taken 37 minutes, I've got to come back by the time it is the second wala block. So this is something that you have to achieve before you go to the exam. Right, okay, you have to get to the point jahan pe you know for sure that 50 pages आप दे रहे हो. Okay, out of which 35 to 40 pages is going to be the main competition. Baki 10 या 15 pages, depending upon the nature of the paper. If it is a moderate paper, if it's an easy paper, maybe 40 pages. If it's a little more moderate sort of a paper, then 35 pages. 35 pages will decide who is in the top 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. Okay, that is the most important thing. Last 10 pages में, 10-15 pages में, it is going to be more or less very similar. But ये 35-40 pages ना, ये 40 pages में, the difference is going to be a lot more. Even if one student is basically getting 1 mark extra, right? Okay, now 1 mark extra, let's say कि in let's say 16 question, right? So that is basically 16 marks here, and 16 marks. Okay, that is going to be 32, right? वो scaling वगैरह करके that can even basically show up as 60 something marks, right? Double भी हो सकता है. It happens. You understand, right? So वो 35 pages, वो 40 pages is basically what it really matters. So वहाँ पे you just try executing, just finish that process. I've had that chance for mains. Let me just go and fight it all out and then leave it there. उसके बाद I don't have any regrets. ठीक है, जो process था मैंने तो complete कर लिया. Right, now if others are basically better than me, ठीक है, okay, I did my best, okay, and if somebody is already better than me, that's fine, right? But not doing this entire process and then realizing that I am in the 4th percentile, okay, I could have really easily pushed to 3rd percentile, or I'm in the 7th percentile, I could have easily pushed into the top 5 percentile, right? ये feeling जब आएगा, it always like regret, right? You do not want to be in that position of regret, right? So I know it is very uncomfortable, right? Anthropology, likhna, if you find it a little difficult here, then you will have this thought ki, how am I going to do it in this 2 weeks, in this 10 days, in this 5 days. Sach mein main bata raha hu, you will do it. Okay, the only thing is that you have to see to it that you don't lose touch with this anthropology as an exam. Okay, basically this entire thing is about process, right? Who can stick to the process, who does not basically jumble up things at the end is the winner, usual winner, right? Okay, who can basically stick to the process just like school, right? वहाँ पे we did not decide ना कि किस दिन क्या पढ़ना है, कितना time spend करना है, you know, we basically just did whatever was basically assigned to us, and then we went, and then, you know, pre-boards इस दिन है, वो second pre-boards यहाँ पे है, then this one, and then उसके बाद some revision test, उसके बाद something, you just follow the whole process and then basically go to the exam. Okay, that is more than enough. Okay, a lot of people basically jumble it up, you know, थोड़ा सा वो graph नीचे जाता है, right? You just see to it that you're avoiding it. Okay, all those pitfalls, generally those are the pitfalls that happen. That is the most important thing. Okay, so from today all the way till the 21st or 20th, at least 21st को मान लो कि essay के लिए आप prepare करोगे or something, right? But the other days, you know, even if you're reducing the time, try to at least give like a couple of hours to anthro, right? If you leave anthro for a certain amount of time, trust me, you know, your mind will say कि 4 days है, 4.5 days है, and all of that. Okay, you have that particular time, but you know, this is basically what is going to be the main decider. Okay, GS में है, right? But generally most students, you know, whether they say कि they did really well, all students say they did not do that well, right? मतलब score का range is kind of similar. Okay, उतना नहीं होता है, but यहाँ पे it will be. Okay, you are looking at score differences of 80 marks, 60 marks, okay, even 100 marks, right? Of students who have basically completed 50 pages, still you will have differences of 100 marks. You want to push yourself as much ahead as possible. ठीक है, कितना ahead आप push कर पाओगे उतना better है, right? You fight for every quarter marks. Okay. So again, I will tell you, right? You know, they are going to basically छीन लेंगे वो last 5 minutes में, 2 minutes में, 3 minutes में. But until they basically sort of like, you know, sort of pull it away from you, snatch it away from you, you continue writing, you continue underlining, you continue boxing, try to make it as neat as possible. थोड़ा सा presentation, all these kind of things आपको करना है. Fight for everything. Even if you are completely blank on some questions, and ये होगा कि you will be blank about some questions, आपको करना क्या है? You know, there try as much as possible to write something relevant. Okay, just try to plot कि ये किस topic या किस syllabus के बारे में होगा. Okay, उस syllabus के बारे में मुझे क्या पता है. Okay, can I in any way try to make it relevant? ठीक है, थोड़ा सा use that particular point that you have learned, even if it is not that relevant. Use the keywords from the particular question. Try to make it some relevant. मतलब try to see कि you can get like half mark, 1 mark. Even if it is 1 mark, trust me, you know, in like a couple of questions like this and couple of questions like that, that is 4 marks. You know, scaling वगैरह करके it could be 8 marks. 8 marks is basically 8 marks कितना हुआ? Okay, that could be 80 to 100 ranks. You understand? 80 to 100 ranks based on इतना small वाला this thing. Okay, so push extremely hard. I cannot it's not perfect, and you know, I this is not how I generally write. You know, I don't want to, you know, write like this. ये सब मत कुछ मत सोचो, right? You basically think that, you know, for every quarter mark, you know, it's going to matter. Okay, you never know कि मतलब, you know, maybe you are like very close to IAS का rank. Okay, I have had friends who have basically gotten 91, 92, मतलब वो early 90s का rank and did not get their IAS. Right? उसके बाद, you know, there are so many other things that have basically happened that they have not gotten their IAS yet. Okay, and those years, okay, now to okay, some of them are basically like kind of very happy with what they are, but you know, for many years they're like, what if अगर ये मैंने किया होता, वो किया होता, अगर ये वाला क्वेश्चन मैंने कंप्लीट किया होता. You don't live with any what ifs. Okay, जितना हमें करना है हम करके आएंगे. Okay, and then we'll be satisfied. If anybody is able to beat us, ठीक है, then congratulations to you, hats off, right? That is that. But it should not be कि I did not give my best, right? So every quarter mark basically works. And अगर तब भी you are not able to tell, okay, then you just go and write intro and conclusion. ये तो आप कर सकते हो, right? Okay, even a question, if you don't know the content, you write intro and conclusion. Intro and conclusion के लिए what do you need to know? Right? Okay, कुछ ना कुछ लेके आओ यहाँ पे. If you can get 1 mark, यहाँ पे again it is like 20, right? 30 to 40% of your marks are basically from intro and conclusion, right? So if it is a 10 marker, it could be 3 marks. Okay, 70% okay आपको नहीं पता, ठीक है, but 30 marks तो आप लिख सकते हो. So fight for every quarter mark. right? Fight for every quarter mark. I can't even tell you कि कितना push कर पाओगे आप push कीजिए, right? कितना push कर पाओगे आप आपको push करना है, because it's very important, because you don't know कि the importance of every quarter mark, right? And how far you've come, right? I've had students who basically not made it to the list by like 3, 4, 5 marks. Okay, and if they had basically attempted this particular question, yeah, if they had basically concluded this particular question, they would have been in the list in that particular attempt. You understand, right? There are so many matlab, variables hote hain UPSC mein, right? If you've come that close, matlab, you've got to latch on. If you've come that close to let's say UPSC ka rank list, you should latch on. If you've come that close to let's say IAS, you should latch on, right? So you give yourself any bit of advantage that you can, okay, by constantly staying in touch, fight for every quarter marks, and agar kuch nahi pata, also you basically do this. Somehow you just keep 50 pages full karke aao up, right? And the most important thing, okay, when you're writing the exam, the paper is going, and this is basically in your essay, it is going to be in GS1, it is going to be in GS2, it is going to be in GS3, it could be in GS4, and most importantly in Anthro. Okay, please don't go in with the mindset that, I hope that the paper is easy. Okay, because right, the paper is not going to be easy. Right? If the paper is easy, then being in the top 1%, 5% also becomes difficult. Right? Just assume that the paper is going to be whatever it is. Okay, this is factor that you cannot control. Okay, no smile, no whatever it is, right? No disappointment. Matlab, smile to karo, right? It's fine. Okay, the paper is harder, it is generally easy. Wo distance between good students who have put in this effort, who've got a lot of studies, who've got a lot of scholars in their answers, scholarly sort of rigor, and decent sort of presentation, agar unke paas hai, and the demand of the question is reasonably sort of addressed, unka score is, it is easier for them to get to the top 5%, top 1%. Right? Easy paper mein you can write a good paper, and then even most students will not be able to come out and say, I hope that, they'll say, I hope that I'm in the top 1%, top 5%. Right? वो 100% बोलना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. Okay, बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, right? So this is that. So in exam, whatever is the paper, right, does not matter, right? आपको क्या करना है? You just think, I have to do better than the others. So 50 pages है मेरे पास. Okay, पहला 5 पेज नहीं आया. Okay, पहला 6 pages नहीं आए. It does not matter. Okay, most likely you think that I should have 35 good pages. Okay, 35 good pages to hai, right? So, if you're not been able to address in some parts, it does not matter. Just just take a deep breath. Okay, and then think, what? Okay, so ye wala page, I feel like I've just not done justice. Man lo ki I've given you a particular question about mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosomal DNA, right? So, and then you start writing ki ye kya hai, right? Okay, and then you start writing this, and then you end up writing about what is Y chromosome and what is mitochondria. Okay, it is ATP. Yes, you just feel you don't have enough content, and then you basically wrote all this. Suddenly, then you remember कि अरे यार ये जो single origin theory, this out of Africa wala theory, वहाँ पे we had that last wala thing, Rebecca Khan. Suddenly something clicks, right? Okay, don't give up there. Arey yaar, I should have put this thing in. Like I made a mistake, and that's it. There is no that's it. Okay, it is not over. Until the fat lady sings, as we say, right? But it is not over until it's over. Right, that's the main point, right? So you have basically had one page and you feel you have not done justice to it. Second page, make very, very good justice to it. Okay, it does not matter. It will still be relevant to some extent. Of course, the space management, it could have been better. But okay, but this wala page mein, you just see to it that you've addressed as much of what is relevant in that particular question really, really, really well. Okay, you will always be able to make a comeback. Right? You wrote your first essay, second essay mein, you feel ki acha, it's just not coming as well as I did for the first one, or I basically just overshot the time in the essay. Does not matter, right? You are not going to be judged based on a few pages. You're going to be judged based on kitne pages hain. 7 times 50, na? 6 times 50, that is 300. 324 pages. आपके पास 324 pages are there to compete in. 324 pages, like that's like this much. ठीक है, this is a lot, right? So मतलब इसमें 1-2 pages यहाँ पे totally like a few pages here and there is not going to matter. Can you deliver 200 good pages? Yes, you can. Right? So let's say your introduction did not come out well, or you basically overshot your time in it. It does not matter. You still tell yourself it's only like मतलब कितना होगा? 16th page ही है मैं. I'm only on the 16th page. I still have 300 and something pages. Okay, let me try to come back. Let me sort of like fight back from here. Let me try to sort of like finish strong. Right? Make a comeback. Okay, any particular time jahan pe you feel that things have not gone in your favor, because things will not go in favor. It is going to be a challenging test, right? Be mentally very prepared that you are basically going just for a fight. War ke liye ja rahe ho aap, right? This is a war. right? When you walk into that particular war, you ensure that, you understand that people are going to be throwing things at you, people are throwing grenades at you, people are going to basically come with chakus and guns and, all these kind of things, right? But you have to dodge every single bullet, right? You have to be very alert and you have to fight. Okay, you take a few beatings, it's fine. Okay, you take a few punches, that is fine. Okay, it is part and parcel of what mains is all about, right? Okay, 324 pages may take every single punch. Okay, but utna aapko likhna hai with your sword, which is going to be your pen, right? The pen is mightier than the sword, right? So pen say aapko, you have to fight back. Every page jahan pe you make a mistake, every page mein jahan pe, UPSC basically sort of like challenging you. Okay, it is basically sort of like torturing you. It does not matter, you are going to stand still. Okay, you fall, basically stand up, right? Aapko karna hai. You have to be in that mindset. Okay, you are basically going to war, right? I am going to do better than the others. Okay, if I make a mistake, if I basically trip, if I basically take a fall, it does not matter, I will stand again. Okay, 300 16 pages ho gaya, I still have 308. Okay, I'm going to fight. Okay, it does not matter wherever you are. Okay, you see the pehla 5-10 markers and you don't know most of those questions, does not matter, it's going to be the same for everybody else. But aapko karna kya hai? It is not about how well you do in that particular 10 markers in those 5 questions. It is basically about how well you have done vis-a-vis the others. Okay, if the paper is relatively on the harder end, all you got to do is be in the top 1%. Okay, all you got to do is be in the top 5%, right? You never know. Okay, you never ever give up in this exam. I've had students who came out, okay, but they fought well in the exam, but they came out thinking that there is no way I'm going to get through, there's no way I'm going to score that well, there is no way I'm going to be the top 1%, 5%. You never know, right? Okay, I know. Okay, most of you guys whose papers been evaluated by me, you all have a chance. If it is your day, if it is your fight, okay, and you have that dog in you to be able to take that fight, okay, and fight for those 320. But, if you're able to get to 150, 38, 19 plus 19 plus 150, if you're able to get anywhere close to it, okay. Now, sometimes you might be able to do it. Sometimes when the paper is a little harder side, maybe you're not going to be able to do it. But if you're constantly looking and practicing and trying to implement that, okay, you are going to get to the top 1% for sure. Okay. Now, how do I basically see, who's going to be there, who's not going to be there? It really depends on whose day it is, right? Who is basically very alert, who's basically, ready for the fight, who's gotten good amount of sleep, who's basically going to go with that attitude ki mujhe, like, main chhodunga nahi all the way until the 100th page is done. Right? Blood, sweat, or tears doesn't matter. Okay. All the way till I am basically sitting there. Okay. It does not matter if I don't know this particular question, if I forgot this particular thing. Until the 100th page is basically done, I am not going to give up. I'm going to give it my all. I don't know. I might be in the top 10th percentile, 9th percentile, 8th percentile, 4th percentile, 1st percentile. I never know, but I'm going to push so hard all the way until the end. Okay. All the way until they snatch my paper. I am going to fight all the way till there, and let us see at what percentile I'm going to be. Most of you guys, who are watching this, who've been part of this particular program, you've been writing for so long, I am telling you, you really have that ability to be in the top 1%. Okay, provided wo fight hai aapne. You need any help in those 4 days also, always reach out. You guys know how to reach out, right? I will make myself available during that particular time period. Okay. So this is very, very important. You're there. Okay, literally you're there. Okay, I should put it as you're almost there. Sharpen your sword. And what is your sword here? There's nothing but your pen. Okay, you have to be. I'm telling you, most of you guys, you don't believe this. I'm telling you that, there is, मतलब बहुत सारे लोग हैं इस particular batch में who can be in that top 1 percentile. It really depends on, you ensuring that you don't basically falter anymore. Okay, at this particular point, we cannot afford to do it. You have to finish the process. Okay, many of you have basically reached your FLT1, some of you FLT2, some of you FLT3, okay, FLT4, some of you, I'm not sure who has basically written. I have not seen the latest wala thing. It does not matter where you are. Okay, there are students who have not written FLTs. I'm telling you this. Okay, I have students. I spoke to that student today as well. The student has not written an FLT, but I know for sure that that student has what it takes to get to the top 1 percentile. Okay, I've had students who have basically written less number of tests. I know for sure that that student, once is ready, is going to start writing those tests. Okay, and has ability to get to the top 1%. There are many of you, especially the ones who have basically finished the process. Okay, who are very close to finishing the process. Right, you have followed the process. Ensure that you are, following the process all the way till the end. Ensure that all the way till August 20th, thoda sa aap cram. You have to give at least a couple of hours to your anthropology, but chodo mat. Right, at the end of the day, labasna depends on who's done well in their options. Okay, you do any sort of check. Okay, any option ko utha ke dekho. Okay, who has made it to labasna that particular year, who has done well in their option. Okay, there is no doubt about this. मतलब कोई भी doubt नहीं है. There is no doubt about this. ठीक है, so between you and labasna is basically your option. So do not give up on that. Okay, others, if they're giving up, it is good. It is easy to sort of take advantage of that. Okay, get into a little bit of a lead with regard to the others in those 4.5 days. See to it that you do not skip this particular step. Right, you cannot just be a reader. Okay, every session mein you have to have some answer writing. Right, you have to do answer writing. Writing and knowledge are two very different things. You've got to be, most of you are going to be in the top 1 percentile. Now you're not the most knowledgeable wala this thing nahi hai. It is never my most knowledgeable student who gets to the top 1 percentile. Okay, it is only those who are good test takers. Right, knowledge mein focus nahi karte hain. Is knowledge se main kya karu? Okay, so essentially what you've got to do, right? So 35 minutes per block. Okay, how do I introduce scholar, conclusion, scholar, current event. Okay, how many of these multiple sort of subheadings, whatever I'm writing, I'm basically adding a subheading. Each of those subheadings I'm trying to sort of put in some sort of scholar or some sort of study, some sort of ethnographic example. मतलब ये सब जो कर रहे हैं ना, okay, even if it is repetitive, even if it is basic, even if जो भी है, but those who are basically focused on this, on implementing this, are basically the toppers, right? Okay, so do not skip this particular step. Okay, you have to ensure that you are in that writing zone every single day. You finish your GS4 and come, thoda sa us din bhi likho. Write a few 10 markers. The next session, the morning wala session mein you write some 15 markers. Okay, in the afternoon wala session you write some 20 markers. Again in the night you write some 10 markers. अच्छे से पढ़ लो. Even if you want to write just that, just write it. ठीक है, सी बट वहाँ पे you try to set the timer 6 minutes के लिए लगाओ. Okay, 10 minutes के लिए लगाओ, 30 minutes के लिए लगाओ, which is basically like 1 minute little less as well. Okay, do a block, 35-minute का block. You have to be in this particular zone. Try to write those answers and see in every page of your archaeology, your fossils and your biological anthropology, you're able to bring in some sort of a diagram, कुछ ना कुछ. Okay, just draw a DNA का molecule, just draw a particular chromosome, mark some sort of a gene, right? So मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो आप कर रहे हो. Just be in that practice wala zone. Many people, who are very good, na, because they've stopped writing, in the last 1 month, na, unka anthro ka wo execution is not going to be that great. Take advantage. But this should not happen to you, right? You've got to have the best execution. Knowledge to ek level ka hai, right? So the knowledge jo aapko chahiye, you have it, okay? But at the end of the day, you have to keep writing. You have to sort of sharpen your test taking skills. And test mein your knowledge basically does not come into, you're not going to be judged on who's the most knowledgeable. You're going to be judged based on who has written better, who has packed a lot of things in their answers, who's able to complete the paper, who's very comfortable, who's in that zone of writing, right? ये सब आपको करना है, and if you can do this, I'm telling you, okay, you are going to be in the top 1 percentile. You never know कि even if यहाँ पे आपने नहीं किया है, right? I think the highest score in any paper that I have given is 190. Okay, and that only for one paper I've basically given that. If anybody is in the 90s to 110s, okay, ये वाला range में आप हो, okay, trust me, you have enough time to be in the top 1 percentile. Okay, enough time to be in the top 1 percentile. And I'm not even saying they are really in the game. Okay, the only thing is that you should not quit all the way till 20th. उसके बाद also, and every study session should basically have a little bit of writing, even if it's a 10 marker. Right? And when you see those questions, never, ever, ever give up. Fight for every quarter mark. Okay, you don't know anything, still you try to see which part of the syllabus it could be from. What do I know from that particular part of the syllabus? Do I have any sort of scholars and studies? Can I basically link it to somebody, something, some keywords from this particular question? Yeah, even usse bhi worst case agar hai, so you basically go with intro and conclusion. Right? You feel like, at some particular place, kuch, you made a mistake, kuch bhi ho raha, it does not matter, right? At the end of the day, you have to basically say that, whatever happens, whatever UPSC tries to throw at me, right? I am going to come back. Okay, I am going to make a comeback. I'm going to fight, right? All the way not till 3 hours and 3 hours, right? You're going to fight all the way till they snatch that paper. right? Do not give up. Okay, every quarter of mark is going to be so important, right? Fight like your life depends on it. Okay, uske baad then we'll basically celebrate. Then we'll have our sessions, and we'll have some recordings and so on and so forth about your experience and all of that. But until then, I just need you to give your best, because you don't know your abilities.